what they do, what it is. This is Orion, aka Brass Balls. Now, before we take a deep dive into the abyss that is this tape cassette that I got in front of you, please subscribe to the YouTube channel Orion Hip Hop, where you can peep previous episodes of Deep Dive Tape Stash. A lot of the music that I put out, dope videos, remixes, rare exclusive tapes you can't find anywhere else but my channel. Please, I would appreciate the subscribe, repost, share, comment, all of that. Love the interaction with all of y'all. Now, get your scuba gear, because this is what we are about to do right here, is talk about this tape cassette that I got in front of you. This is a promo tape cassette for Cypress Hill. This is episode 50. Cypress Hill is one of my favorite hip-hop groups of all time, and what better way to set off this episode, this new episode 50, this monumentous occasion, than with Cypress Hill. 1998, they were releasing their album 4. Roman numeral 4 to be exact. This was an album that was the follow-up to a Cypress Hill classic by the name of Temples of Boom, which is my favorite type Cypress Hill album of all time. But Black Sunday, the album before that, and the self-titled album before that, their debut, are classics again. And number 4 followed up nicely. This is the return of Sendog, and with Sendog's return, one of the opening tracks for the album itself 4 is Checkmate. Now, Checkmate was featured on this tape cassette that I got in front of you right here. You know that it sets off with Sendog, and I think that was dope because although Sendog had some parts here and there in Temples of Boom, he didn't have as much of a prominent role as he did in the previous Cypress Hill projects. So it was great to see Sendog back in the fold and on these tracks. And I think from all the promo tapes, what was dope about this, and Rough House giving them the props that they deserve because they were like one of the bigger acts in Rough House Records, is the fact that this was kind of done interview style, where they were mostly talking in between the tracks, and they talked about being the pioneers of the pro-weed sound in hip-hop. And then that was followed up by a track called Audio X, where, you know, B-Real's kind of flipping this like double time style that was very much prominent in 1998 with a lot of hip-hop that was flourishing at that time. So it's dope to see them willing to go in that lane. You know, Muggs has a portion of this tape where he talks about the art of producing and how digging for your samples is very much a part of what producers do. I wonder how his sentiments are now that it's even gotten crazier with so many online services that offer people samples and you don't have to dig that much. You know, these sample packs that are relentless. That was followed up by a track called Riot Starter, which is a very dope, you know, dark bassline driven song, has a lot of rock influence in it, and you can hear the PE influence in it, which you hear a lot of Public Enemy in Cypress Hill tracks, especially tracks like this one. So that was dope that they did that. There was a Latino, specifically Cuban shout out, and as a Cuban myself, like, it was dope to see Cypress Hill shout out Los Cubanos, because, you know, for a long time you just thought everybody in Cypress Hill was Chicano. You really had to do the research to know that the brothers have a lot of Cuban, you know, blood within them and everything. So I thought that was dope. And then the tape ends with a dope instrumental, which was actually an interlude on the 4 album that I'm talking about. I actually remember sampling that interlude and stretching it out so that I could cypher with my homies. So it's dope that this tape had that, because had I had this tape back in 98, I would have been blazing this shit strictly to flow with my homies and ciphers and shit or whatnot. Baron Riggs is somebody that was featured on Audio X, and he was in a group called Call of the Wild, which was produced by DJ Muggs, very much Soul Assassins, and he had a prominent role in this 4 album. He was on 5 or 6 tracks. All of them were dope. His performances were stellar, and he's somebody that I think is like mad slept on. So go check out Baron Riggs. If you slept on this album 4, there's serious joints that were not featured on this promo tape, like Looking Through the Eye of the Pig, I See It All, Prelude to a Come Up with MC8, Steel Magnolia, Nothing to Lose, Tequila Sunrise, Dead Men Tell No Tales, 16 Men Till There's No One Left. Like, these joints are so classic and quintessential Cypress Hill shit. This album really added on to the group's lore. High Times and Dr. Green Thump are like great weed joints. There's another one on there called Clash of the Titans that I love a lot, and it ends with another track called Dust, which gives you a glimpse into something that DJ Muggs was dabbling into. And he had an album he released with Tricky and Dame Grease called Juxtapose, which I have. I remember when it came out, I was blown away by the fact that these three guys got together and made their production blend so nicely. And then later on in 2001, 2002, I was anticipating DJ Muggs' solo album, Dust, which you can peep online. It's got classics on it. It's a definite must listen for anybody who's into DJ Shadow, Massive Attack, Tricky. You into that sound, Portishead, that DJ Muggs Dust album is mad slept on. One joint that wasn't on this promo tape that was on the album that I love is Feature Presentation featuring Baron Ricks and Chase Infinite. I was already a Chase Infinite fan because of Self Scientific, and it was great to see that there was a Soul Assassin Self Scientific connection, and Feature Presentation was so fucking fire to me to this day. I remember seeing Cypress Hill live at Grand Central in Miami. Grand Central is no longer around, but it was a dope venue. I saw Goblin there perform, and I also saw Cypress Hill perform. Shout out to my dude Javi, who hooked it up. I ain't have to pay shit. Got in for free, and to this day, it sticks out in memory as one of my favorite concerts that I went to. You know, of course, your boy was on that reefer. The reefer was madness that night. It was crazy. I went out there with my dogs Alex and my dog Julian. I hope they remember it as much as I did. I actually gave Be Real my album Balls to the Wall. I had a copy on me. I ran into him outside, and I was able to talk to him briefly and give him a copy of that shit. So that was dope to conquer that. You know, you as an MC, you go to these shows and you always hope to have a moment like that. You never know if it's gonna come up or not, and you don't want to bother, you know, somebody who's out there working like these dudes were. But, you know, he was receptive, and that was mad cool. Love Cypress Hill to this day. They've released album Elephants on Acid, Back to Black. You know, they got material that they're still putting out there, and they're very much still hip-hop legends in this, you know what I'm saying? So this tape itself, I got this off eBay. It was a come up that came up with a large package of tape cassettes that I was able to garner. But nonetheless, I didn't need this tape to get me to go buy this 4 album. I bought this shit when it hit the racks because, you know, everything from the self-titled album, Black Sunday, Temples of Boom, to even unreleased and revamped the remixes album, I had all of those, you know, and so I was anticipating any Cypress Hill album that came out in 98. Of course, the Soul Assassin shit that came out before that as well. So shout out to all of y'all. Shout out to all the Cypress Hill fans, Soul Assassins fam out there. You know, this is Orion, aka Brass Ball, signing out. Another deep dive tape stash installment for you and yours. Hope you enjoyed this one. And just so you know, I am gonna put this whole tape up online because I noticed that it wasn't on YouTube. So I'm gonna bless y'all with it so you can know what this tape sound like and understand where I was coming from when I made this video. Peace.